Impyrium is a fantasy novel made by acclaimed author Henry H. Neff. It is a sequel to The Tapestry, a 5-book-long series, and follows 3,000 years after the end where the whole world explodes. First, the answer to the essential question. I chose why does it often hurt to be excluded from a group, and here is my response. It often hurts to be excluded from a group because it can make people feel angry or violent towards those who excluded them and create tensions between communities. In Imperium, humanity is separated into two groups, Mehrunes, who could cast magic, and Muir, who could sadly not. Society in the world of Imperium revolved around being a Mehrunes. If you could cast magic, you were part of the cool group, and you were seen as having a higher status than Muir. So much so that being a Muir was considered an insult to these people. They would literally call uncivilized or bad action as Muirish and insult each other by calling others Muir. This exclusion from society led Muirs to have a horrible perception of Mehrunes. In fact, they staged multiple rebellions against those in power, but they all failed. This doesn't only apply to Muir though. The Mehrunes also had superiors in the form of houses, with the greatest being the Pharygians. Am I pronouncing that right? Anyway, the holy house that ruled the entire world. Their godlike status created tension between them and all the other royal houses, and as seen in the book, made the other houses attempt to take down the Pharygians on multiple occasions. In conclusion, the exclusion of people from a group made the excluded perform acts of violence towards those who excluded them and produced conflict between groups. Speaking of conflict, what is the conflict of this book? Well, there's a lot of conflict, so I chose only one of them, being man versus society. This conflict was between Hob plus a group of revolutionaries called the Fellowship and the Mehrunes, who made a magic-based class system. Now for the plot. Here are the plot elements.
I ain't reading all that.
So let me summarize the Empire of Imperium. There we meet a peasant boy from the country, eventually turning into a spy called Hob, and a royal princess called Hazel, who has big magical potential and even bigger expectations as their stories collide to prevent a collapsing kingdom from, not collapsing. Next, let's move on to traits. Hob has two main traits I've seen, being stubborn and hardworking. He's stubborn in the fact that even in the face of death, he refuses to surrender, and hardworking in the sense of him literally spending 8 days in a cold forest to kill a giant wolf and eating its bare heart. Moving on to Hazel, she's compassionate, shown in this quote, and is risk-taking, as she is totally willing to cast a spell that can kill her with a single mistake. Anyway, that's it. That's the end. Thanks for watching, and I'm sorry for the length. It was long.